Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to RDF's YouTube channel. It is RDF himself, and in this video we are going to look at some of the essential African Wonderkid players that you must get. Now yesterday on my Twitter I did receive a tweet from someone saying that I should look for talents in West Africa as there are many promising players that cost nearly nothing, and I thought, you know what, I am for the people, I am for the community, so I am going to deal with that request. But not only did I look for players in West Africa, I just looked for great Wonderkids in Africa as a continent itself. So for that person that requested this in the tweet, this video is for you. Now what I am going to do, I actually have a list of 15 African Wonderkids. What I am going to do, I am going to start off with worst to best, which is in my opinion, of course. So the players at the end of the video are going to be the players with the highest potential ability. Now these players, most of these players are going to be dirt cheap. These players are going to be excellent for you if you are starting a journeyman save, or if you're just in a league that's kind of in a lesser reputation than say the Premier League or the La Liga. For the purpose of this save, I used Man United to scout these players. Most of these players actually came back with a good potential rating, so if they have a good potential rating at Man United, just imagine what their potential could be at a lesser team. So just before we start this video, if you haven't just yet, please, if you don't mind, could you subscribe to my channel? It would be hugely appreciated, and also you can drop a like on this video. But without the further hold up, we are going to get stuck in this video, and we're going to start off with number 1 or number 15, whichever way you look at it. We're going to start with the player at the bottom of the list basically, and that first player is Abdul Konaté. He is a 16-year-old central midfielder. He is available to approach to sign from the very start of the game. His main attributes are his first touch, his passing, his technique, his vision, work rate. He's got decent leadership, very good decisions. His determination is very high. He's fairly pacey. He's got good jumping reach, which is a very random stat for a central midfielder, and he has very good stamina. He is left-footed, his personality is fairly determined, his current media description is young midfielder, which I'm guessing would change if you sign him and start playing him. But that is the first player on this list, is 16-year-old Abdul Konaté. Number 14 is Harib Abdalla, a 17-year-old from the UAE. Another nice little player here, available on loan from the start of the game. He is a driven winger who plays on the right side but left-footed, so he likes to cut in. He's got very good dribbling, first touch, technique, nice work rate, very good flair, nice decisions. He's a fairly aggressive player. His acceleration, agility, natural fitness and pace are not bad either. At just 17 years old, he could turn out to be a very, very good player. As you can see, at the moment, his current club do not want to sell. If we ask his agent for availability, you can see that a high transfer fee may be required, as I believe this club may not be willing to sell. So that is number 14, Harib Abdalla. Next on the list is number 13 with Shady Radwan. Shady Radwan. He is an 18-year-old winger, but looking at his stats, considering his low acceleration, I actually might retrain him as an attacking midfielder. He is quite pricey, but his current ability is actually one of the better players on this list. He's got very good crossing, very good dribbling, nice first touch, very good passing and technique. His work rate is high, very good off the ball, very good flair, nice determination. His agility, natural fitness, pace and stamina aren't bad attributes either. His estimated cost is between 1.2 and 2.2 million, which is actually kind of pricey if you are doing a journeyman save. But if you are in a lesser league and you do have some money to play with, then Shady Radwan could be a player for you. In at number 12, we have a striker, 19-year-old from Iraq. His name is Mohammed Dawood. He can also play on the wing, so he is fairly versatile. He's got very good attributes to start with. Nice crossing, dribbling, finishing, first touch, heading, passing. Technique is very good. He's got very good off the ball movement, and his flair is fairly decent as well. His determination is low, so if you want to develop him, maybe you want to put him in a mentoring group to try and improve his determination. His acceleration, jump and reach, natural fitness and his pace aren't bad at all. He's 19 years old, he's a striker, and he is very, very cheap. And when we're talking very cheap, I am talking dirt cheap. His estimated cost is between 5.5k and 10.5k. So for a journeyman save, this guy is a very, very good option for you. In at number 11, we have Prince Adu Kwabena. He is a 16-year-old who you can approach to sign at the start of the game straight away. He's mainly a striker, though you can retrain him in any positions just behind the striker. But wow, for a 16-year-old, just look at his attributes. His compensation will be around 300k. He's got very, very good dribbling, finishing, first touch, passing technique, work rate, vision, teamwork, off the ball. I mean, really, there's not much he can't do as a striker, apart from heading maybe, but he's not very, very poor. That attribute can be increased. His acceleration, agility, pace, and his fitness are all very, very good. He comes with some player traits also, like shoots from distance. He comes deep to get the ball. He tries first-time shots, and he likes to switch the ball to wide areas. Now, this guy at age of 16 is an absolute classy player. Very, very great. You might be wondering why he's not higher up in the list, but we do have some very, very great players on this list with some high potential ability. But our number 11 is Prince Adu Kwabena. And number 10 also has a very, very interesting name. His name is Zinedine Boutmène. I don't really want to butcher it, so I'm not going to attempt anymore. He's a 19-year-old Algerian winger. He's very one-footed. He only likes to play on his left foot. So if you play him on the left-hand side, it is suggested you play him as a winger. If you play him on the right-hand side, play him as a role that asks the player to come inside with the ball. He's got very, very good attributes for a wide player. His standout attribute is his flair. Very, very good. He's also fast. He's got nice balance and agility alongside the technique and first touch to match his dribbling and his flair. A very, very tricky winger. This is going to be someone that is very, very difficult to sign at the start of the game. But when it comes to the mid-season transfer window, make sure to scout him to check on his availability. In at number 9, we have Aliou Baldé, a 17-year-old winger from Senegal. Again, he is very, very right-footed. So if you are playing him on the right-hand side, you want to play him as a winger. If you play him on the left-hand side, you want to give him a role where he can cut inside with the ball. At the age of 17, he is very, very fast. He's got decent flair and off-the-ball movement. His dribbling and technique aren't bad at all. One of the reasons why he is higher than the previous player on this list is because of his estimated cost between 31k and 58k, an absolute bargain. But also his potential. He can grow into a very, very wonderful player. A lot of these attributes need some filling in. So if you do choose to sign him and you go to his development and you give him individual training, you have the flexibility to highlight the attributes you really want him to train on, and those attributes should increase very, very rapid, as this guy has a very, very good potential ability. So his name is Aliou Baldé. He's from Senegal, 17 years old. He can play as a winger, but also can be retrained as a striker. Next on the list is a 19-year-old central midfielder by the name of Ibrahim Adel, a 19 years old from Egypt, currently plays for Pyramids. His estimated cost is between 1.6 million and 2.9 million, but there is actually a reason for this, because this player grows into be a very, very fantastic central midfielder. You can also play him as an attacking midfielder, as he has fairly decent long shots. His standout attributes are his determination, his decisions, his first touch, his passing, his anticipation, and his physical attributes overall are fairly good. Again, you might not want to sign him for a top team, but if you are a mid-table team, a weaker team, or a team in a lesser league, you can sign this guy and you can develop him, and he could become a very good central midfielder for you. Next on this list is Augustine Mahlonoka. He's 18 years of age, from South Africa. He is an attacking midfielder but can be retrained to play as a central midfielder or on the wider areas. His estimated cost currently, his team do not want to sell. If we ask his agent for his availability, you can see that he's not interested as he's just joined the club. So again, when it comes to the mid-season transfer window, you might want to send a scout report just to check on his availability. He's got a very low value, so he could come at a very cheap price. His attributes are very good for an attacking midfielder. He's got very nice dribbling, first touch, passing, technique, vision, work rate, flair. Determination could be improved if you give him some mentoring. His decisions are okay. You could improve on his composure and his anticipation, but his acceleration and his pace is very good. His physical attributes should develop naturally over time. Next, we have a 17-year-old central midfielder from the Ivory Coast. His name seems to be fairly difficult to pronounce. I did actually try and do my research, but just to avoid some butchering, I am not going to try and pronounce his full name. But he is a very talented central midfielder. He was actually very good on Football Manager 2020. Also, he is currently wanted at the start of the game, and he's wanted by Porto, which should signal that he has a fairly decent potential, as a team like Porto are interested in him. He's a central midfielder, a very well-rounded one. His estimated cost again is very cheap. To pick his standout attributes will be fairly difficult, but his positioning, his teamwork, his passing, his technique, his dribbling, his composure, his decision making, his flair and decisions, and his determination are all very good attributes for him. Those seem to be his strength. Now, he is actually a central midfielder I highly recommend. As you can tell by his attributes, this is someone that you can start off at the start of the save. This guy is an excellent, well, he's a must buy for me in my opinion. Number 5 on this list is a 19-year-old from South Africa by the name of Oswin Appollis. He can play on the wing as attacking midfielder and also as a central midfielder. His standout attributes are his dribbling. He's got very good dribbling and very good flair. He's got decent agility and speed to him. He's got nice off the ball decisions. His determination again is something that could be increased. His passing's not too bad alongside his technique and his vision. At just the age of 19, this guy can grow to be a very good player, as he is also versatile, so he can play in multiple positions and duties. His estimated cost again is fairly low, with it being between 185k and 375k. Number 4 on my list is a 17-year-old again from South Africa, and again his full name seems very difficult for me to pronounce, so I'm just going to go by his first name, which is Asinele. He is a very decent player, but a player with a very high potential. He can play as a central midfielder or as an attacking midfielder. He can also be trained to play out on the wing, but I actually advise you to play him as an attacking midfielder. His first touch, his flair, his determination and his decision making seem to be his standout attributes, alongside his acceleration, his pace. His passing is very good, alongside his vision and technique. Those are on 13 alongside his first touch, so he is a very technical player. No doubt you might want to be playing him as an advanced playmaker. His estimated cost is currently unavailable, as the current club do not want to sell. If we ask the agent for his availability, you will see that he isn't interested, as he just joined his club. So again, when it comes to the mid-season transfer window, this is a player you want to keep an eye out on. Now, number 3 on this list is an absolute beast. His name is Djibril Touré. He's actually got a future transfer. He's joining Watford, so I'm guessing in real life this is a transfer that is happening. He's a very versatile attacking player. He's from Guinea. He's 17 years of age. Currently his estimated cost isn't available, as he is joining Watford, but if we just look at his attributes, his standout is his flair. He's got very good off the ball, very good finishing, first touch and dribbling, alongside technique and vision. This is going to be a very good signing for Watford. If you are Watford, this is a player to look out for, as maybe in your first season he could actually get some games, or you might have to loan him out if he does not get a work permit. But this is a player you should be keeping an eye out on. He is a very classy striker. We are approaching the very end of this list, and now we are on the second to last player. His name is Anis Kassem, a 15-year-old player from Syria. What are the odds of us finding a 15-year-old player from Syria? But he is a striker, can be retrained to play in any position just behind the striker role. But you can see he has very high determination, alongside a very decent potential ability. So he has the potential to grow into an absolute star for you. Of course, you can approach the signing at the start of the game. His standout attributes are his finishing, his bravery, his determination. He's got fairly decent pace to him as well. His natural fitness is fairly high. But as you can see, it won't take long for his technique, maybe his passing, his off the ball, his decisions and his anticipation. Things like that will start to get into double figures as he grows older. He is only 15, but he does have a very good potential ability. And finally, we are now on the last player on this list, the player who I believe is number one, who has the best potential ability, who can be the most valuable player for your team, is a 17-year-old player from Nigeria. His name is Wisdom Ubani, currently plays for Giant Killers. His estimated cost is between 31k and 66k, and when I tell you that is an absolute bargain, I mean that is an absolute bargain. My scout is saying he's best as an advanced forward. Looking at his stats, absolutely no wonder why. He's got absolute incredible stats for a 17-year-old and for someone that has a very, very good potential ability. His dribbling is on 13. He's got very, very good finishing and first touch. He's got very good heading as well. His technique isn't bad. His off the ball isn't bad either. His flair is also very, very good. His determination isn't the best. That is something you might want to try and improve on with mentoring, because if he can get his determination up higher than 11, then maybe he can just develop into an absolute beast for you. His concentration level is also low. He's 17 years old. We are hoping that will naturally increase, especially if he can score some goals at a fairly decent team. But that is something that I wouldn't worry about too much, especially if you are in the lower leagues and you are starting out as a journeyman save. You can see here he has very good acceleration, very good agility, and very, very good pace. His stamina and natural fitness are there to match it as well, so he's got very, very good physical attributes. This is the player that I am most impressed with on this list, as he has very, very good potential ability and he comes at a very, very low cost. I think he's actually the cheapest player on the list with the biggest potential ability also. But that wraps up my list with the African Wonderkids. These are the essential African Wonderkids that you must try and get in your Football Manager save. I highly recommend if you are doing a journeyman save or starting at a lower league, then these are the players for you. If you want to see a spotlight on any of these players, if you want to see how they progress 5 years later down the line, then please leave a comment in the description. You can tell me which player you want to see me do a spotlight on, and I will deliver on that request. But it has been RDF. Please, if you are new or you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe or like this video. I will see you soon. Peace out and stay safe.